Alright. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. We've got Rogue in the top left side of the map. The original genius, the original clever boy, the guy who vacillates between some of the best late-game macro play, at least for his time. When he was at his peak, 2017, he was the best late-game Zerg in the world. He was the guy who pioneered late-game in Legacy of the Void. But he also is a master of some of the silliest and most ridiculous strategies, especially all-ins, that we've ever seen. So we'll see if he's got any of that in store. He's up against BYUN, a player who's not going to give him much room to breathe. BYUN is going for a low ground barracks, no doubt a 2-Rax Reaper wall-off, and this is just going to allow him to basically pressure Rogue constantly, not give him too much room to breathe, like I said, and really try to get on top of him. Now, Rogue is notoriously weak to proxy 2-Rax Marine, which is why he's scouting with both Overlords, to make sure he can see it coming. Rogue is very, very weak to proxy barracks. It's one of these things where you really need to practice a lot and make sure you have a memorized response to deal with that. Not necessarily Rogue's forte lately. On the other hand, as long as you're not getting proxied, Rogue will be relatively clean. He's got a very strong mid game. His late game, I feel like he hasn't really evolved as much, right? He was the cutting edge. Cheryl kind of outpaced him in 2018. They had their famous showdown at the 2018 World Championship. One of the best matches I've ever had the honor to commentate. It was crazy because, you know, Rogue threw everything at Cheryl at that match. Couldn't quite break him. And I feel like ever since then, Rogue has pivoted a little more to say, okay, before I was like 60% macro, maybe 70%, 30% cheese. I feel like he's a much higher cheese percentage these days. I mean, think of Rogue versus Dark, right? How many times have we seen these two draw and just throw all ins at each other and have crazy series? But Zerg vs. Terran's a different story. Rogue, yeah, he's the master of the 1-1 Roach all in with the sneaky Nidus in the corner. He's good at making his opponent think he's playing Zerglings and then tricking them. The problem in modern TvZ is I feel like when you're playing the best Terrans, it's harder to keep secrets from them. Whereas I think he's so good at tricking Protoss players and Zerg players and catching them off guard, there is like a base level of mechanical skill in this matchup, and I wonder if Rogue's going to be able to keep up with BYUN. Now, if you guys are wondering where this match is from, this is a qualifier for the upcoming Wardi TV festival. So it is a best-of-3 match. Reaper's already getting Zergling, but one Zergling's nothing to write home about, and that third hatchery does go down behind this as well as a nice quick link speed. Now, Rogue did stop at 20 drones for a little bit, a little slow on droning, and that's, of course, because he's gone for 6 Zerglings, he's gone for the third hatchery. So if he loses the third hatchery, I feel like it's not an optimal opening, but if he can keep the third hatchery alive, I think it's quite nice for Rogue. Behind this, is this a total of 4 Reapers, guys? Oh, 4 Reapers. I feel like BYUN absolutely needs to commit to the hatchery. And the reason he's on the left side is so if those queens run over, he can start grenade bouncing them. But hatcheries are tanky as, guys. Now, these queens do not have transfuse. Keep that in mind. If he goes off creep, these Reapers could pick off 1 or 2 queens since link speed isn't done yet. But he's going to commit to the hatchery. BYUN's not going to get it. The lings are coming. There's no way he gets this. The Reaper grenade's coming out, and Rogue's doing a good job of distracting him. That's 140 hit points, 150. It's gaining. It's gaining. It's out of the danger zone. It's out of the danger zone. So BYUN here now has to try to run home. Rogue already with the master Zerglings. If he can cut off the retreat, that's going to be huge. Remember, Rogue did commit to a lot of Zerglings. He's down in workers. He's trying to catch up behind this. The Reaper's desperately trying to get home. BYUN quickly changes angle. Great grenade. That grenade was nice, but it does bounce one of his own Reapers as well. At least one of these. Oh my gosh. Are they going to get out? There's no way Rogue is going to let him jump up there. Surely not. No. The Lings will get the full surround, and the Reapers, they do bounce the Lings, but they bounce themselves at the same time. And they do take a lot of damage. 3 racks behind this, though. Double reactor, 1 tech lab. Factory comes down. Interesting. +1 on the engineering bay as well. So BYUN's going to be going for a very aggressive 2-base centric style. Like I said, he's not going to give Rogue a lot of room to breathe. Rogue is so good at clever play, showing his opponent one thing, doing something else, tricking his opponents. He's very much a big game strategy, big brain strategy player. Problem is that in the pace of Zerg vs. Terran, if you are just a little slow on something and you're too busy thinking about your 300 IQ thing, sometimes the guy who just clicks faster with his Marines gets in your face and just kills you. And that's been a problem for him in the past. I'm always a complainer of the fact that some of the most disappointing series in terms of the way they would finish was always Rogue vs. Maru between 2018 to 2021. 2020 especially. There's a couple of years there where they were both the absolute top of the Korean world, and every time they played in a big tournament, it felt like two guys who were just doing strange things versus each other. Like I guess Rogue just wanted to mind game and Maru just looked paranoid the entire time. And it was like Maru would get ahead and then just like A move, even though he knew Rogue was going for a roach all in. He'd unsiege his tanks, move out, and just lose the game. But then other games, Rogue would like crush this timing attack that Maru was a bit too obvious with. And then he'd just make 30 drones, not remake banelings. Maru would unload the Marines he'd saved, stim back in, and win the game. And I remember there was a lot of these weird series they had where I was like, that's such a dumb way to lose. Like, Rogue would secure a massive advantage and then just forget a basic thing and lose to Maru. Maru would ignore fundamental strategy against Rogue. And I was always disappointed in that. And I really felt like Rogue looked so much better when he was playing someone who wasn't a teammate. And against BYUN, I think this is an interesting match. BYUN is a player who's predictable. You should be able to outmind game him, but is his micro just going to be so good that Rogue underestimates him? Because that's often what happens with BYUN. BYUN's strength is not surprise. It is micro, it's control, it's the aggressive potential. He's got +1, he's got stim, he's got shields, 2 medevacs, not enough to pick up all of these Marines. He's going to have to focus those Banes pretty hard. Oh, BYUN actually pre-split a little bit. You don't see that from BYUN very often. BYUN's more of a ball micro man, likes to keep his Marines together so he can quickly focus fire. He will cancel the 4th hatchery, and I think it's a wise choice to just give that up. You've got a new base already going up on the left. Very wise for Rogue. Unfortunately, because Rogue had to make all these banelings, 15 banelings, his 1-1 has been massively delayed. He starts a macro hatchery, but Rogue needs to make sure he gets on top of that, and he needs to do it soon. Spreading creep in the face of BYUN, very ballsy, and a queen goes down there, does miss the transfuse. Great map vision. Look at the map vision of Rogue behind this, though. There's no drops or libs sneaking across this map at all. There is no chance of any of that. $40 Marines. We've got tanks and libs coming out behind this. This is an all-in, guys. Burrows on the way. 1-1 only just started, though. I feel like that could cost Rogue huge. Rogue's Baneling speed, about 30 seconds away. Banelings, if they connect with the Marines, it doesn't matter, but the Zerglings against the Marines, when it's 1-1 against 0-0, is going to massively favor BYUN. I wouldn't mind BYUN setting a tank up, like, behind here, but he doesn't know about Rogue. Rogue's down here, setting up a big flank. Here we go. Rogue's going to go for it. Rogue's going to go for it. No, he gets spotted. Okay, he at least forces BYUN to siege a little further away. He's rebuilding the top base, realizing, I think, Rogue is that he might have to give up this hatchery. I think Rogue's best move here is to counterattack still. I think it's to give up ground, counterattack. I think against this style, you really just need to pick your engagements perfectly. And we've seen BYUN seemingly lose 1 or 2 engagements with this sort of 2-base push style and then still win the game. You have to give respect. Burrow's not quite there. Lingbane coming in. He's going to go for a 3-pronged surround. By the looks of it, here we go. He's doing it. Coming in from 3 sides. Lingbane closing in. Banelings on the right side. Massive hits from the Banelings. There is still a pack of Marines. They do focus down 1 more Baneling on that right side, but it's a hold, and a very good hold at that. Units lost tab. 1,200 in favor of BYUN. Liberators will go forward across the map. He's got Marines out front, and he should be able to defend just easily. Ooh, Pervert Zergling. I love the Pervert Zergling, guys. The little Zerglings, they actually have surprising amount of vision. So they've got a good ring of vision. This is going to tell you when your opponent's moving out, and then you can put Burrowed Banelings further back, but this way you know when he's moving out, so it gives you more time to react and use the Burrowed Banelings. Weird name. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know. It's just something I've called it in my head for a long time. It's just a little creepy guy hiding there watching you. I don't know. I just imagine like an eyeball poking out of the ground or something, and he's just like, you look at the ground and you just see this one eye, and then it quickly like blinks. You know, he closes the Zergling eyelid to make you... Anyways. Massling Bane coming in over there. 1-1 versus 1-1. The upgrades are now even. There's a new hatchery on the left side. 60 drones against 47 workers is the perfect amount to stop. The hatcheries do give value to BYUN over time. He's also denying an overlord with his Liberators ever so slowly. That's important. It does deny Rogue's vision, so he can sneak drops in the top as well. Oh, Queen pops out, and Queen dies. Another Queen. She goes down there and gets herself bopped. There's only 5 Queens in this game. What the hell? Why are there only 5 Queens, guys? Oh, wow. Rogue's playing the way I play it. This is old school understanding. This is 2017 understanding. So I've always been of the belief that Massling Bane's better than going heavy Queen because it gives you more mobility and you can swing around and counterattack way harder, and you can flank and crush their push way harder. European modern understanding, I would say modern understanding in general, Dark does it as well, is to just never stop building Queens, right? You'll see Raynor against the Serral, they'll have 20 Queens by this point. They'll have this massive wall of Queens, which are good for killing libs, and they're good for absorbing tank shots if the Terran pushes on creep. But if the Terran doesn't push on creep, it's very hard for you to make a play with those Queens. So I've always preferred the Rogue style because it's more flexible, but I haven't really seen it at this level of play in a long time. So it's fascinating to see. He's going to try and add Hydras. He does have 2 upgrades on the way, but so does BYUN. BYUN's also building a 3rd command center, which is currently blocked, but Marines are going to get cleaned up by the Zerglings. Going to have to just keep picking up and dropping around. 4 Liberators up top. There's no Spore in the main, but there's a Spore there. No Spore in the natural. 1 down here. Rogue is just massing units, and he's waiting for the perfect engagement. And this is what it all comes down to, right? So many players, they win one fight, and then they try to drone to 80 workers against this or whatever. Rogue is like... He squeezed in 10 more workers at some point, right? He went from like 58 to 70 workers, but he's still just massing Link Bane, respreading creep, focusing on his basics. And I love what Rogue's doing here, because it does feel to me like, on a fundamental level, the fact that BYUN wins so many games with 2 base all-ins in this matchup, it's got to be frustrating for his opponents, and they've got to realize they're making strategic errors. Like, there's no way your opponent can 2 base all-in for 15 minutes and win the game regularly when you're on 3, 4, 5 bases. And it happens so much. Massive Doom drop in the main, guys. 4 Medevacs and 4 Liberators. It's a crazy person's move. The Queens just don't have enough anti-air to shoot anything down. He's going to siege the tank in the back. He's got a good pack of Marines there as well. He's going to have to hot pick up. I mean, it's a very annoying thing to deal with, but the Hydra count's good. It's enough Hydras. The Libs will get overwhelmed there. He's going to redrop on the right side, but the Hydras and the Queens take it out. Even though the Hydras only had Groove Spines, they didn't have Augments just yet. Spore Crawler there does okay. On the bottom side, Double Drop comes in as well. Rogue with a good army split so far. And, oh, good focus fire on the Banelings. Is it enough, though? He does go back to the high ground left side. Actually, no pickup on the bottom left. BYUN making a mistake there. But it's in this chaos. That's where BYUN often finds success. Right now, though, it's 2-2 against 1-1. And so perhaps trading right now, it may have been somewhat of an anti-timing. He is swapping into BioMine. He's got a 3rd command center down. So you might think, well, he's playing a macro game now. No, guys, he's still only on 50 workers. Remember, his main is already almost mined out. And whilst he is starting +3 weapons, it is basically him just prolonging the hyper-aggressive play. If at any point the game settles down for a minute or two and he gives Rogue room to get to lurkers or anything like that, things go very, very badly for him. That being said, no Hive started just yet as far as I know. No, it's still a lair. And we've got the Widow Mines burrowing over there as well. Rogue is massively up in supply. Ling's still counterattacking, but not able to find any value. He's got a Burrowed Zergling even deeper now. Marines on the left side come in, trying to bait him into those Widow Mines. That one's going to get it. Oh! The Zergling's actually auto-spread there because the Widow Mine revealed itself. When it fired, the Zerglings ran away to attack it on their own. 6 SCVs go down, maybe even a few more if you count the tank-friendly fire, as I don't think that shows up over there. And I think Rogue, I mean, he's looking really comfortable. He's just got to be careful not to get too fast and loose. I keep talking about how BYUN makes so many comebacks from these games. This one's looking pretty done. I think Rogue's got it in the bag, but it's just, I've seen BYUN make so many silly comebacks. I'm like, I would be so nervous as a Zerg playing against him. Very hard to hang on here. Hive's finally on the way. It's 2-2 against 2-2. 25 worker advantage for Rogue, but he's also got a 20 army supply advantage. The Marauders stay up front trying to absorb the Banelings, but the Banelings were moved past. Really good play by Rogue. And I mean, Rogue's vision. Let's just once again look at Rogue's vision, guys. BYUN has to tap out. Let's just very quickly look at Rogue's vision. Look at this, guys. Burrowed Zerglings everywhere. He had to scan to take his own 3rd. He's got Overlords and Zerglings all over. He did a really good job respreading his creep spread as well to keep control on his side. And at the end of the day, the unit's lost 5,000 resources in favor of BYUN, but that's not enough. He's often like, he needs like a 2-to-1 trading, right? 4,000 or 5,000 advantage is not enough. BYUN actually needs more than that when he's doing this strategy. All right, guys, going into game 2, let's see if BYUN can redeem himself on Post-Youth, a map which, honestly, I've seen Terrans veto this map. I've seen Zergs veto this map. I would say it's very good for defending like 5 bases. Because if you look at this, right, let's zoom out. You get your in-base, right, which already gives you a nice boost as a Terran. And there's no real easy counterattack paths. You can't, like, all-inning up this ramp sucks. And then, okay, you got your 3rd. It's kind of spread far away, right? So arguably Mutiling Bane could be effective on this map. Just because of that. But otherwise, then you get a gold right there. And a 5th over here. And it seems like there's a decent spread between these bases. But when you look at the architecture, you can just basically put tanks here. And they cover the gold, they cover the right side base, and it's like you can kind of just spread everything around here. You might think, well, what's the big deal, Pig? The deal is that there's like little choke points everywhere. Little choke points and ramps and corners. And these are all things that Terran units love and Zerg units hate. So Zergs really struggle to break into a Terran in late game once they get to like 4 to 5 bases. We can also point out that the mid game, the gold base, is very exposed for the Zerg. It's easier for Terran to defend the gold because tanks can start pushing. You've got these lovely ridge lines here. You can put a tank there. You can start, like, you know, pushing through the site blockers, ledges. Even though there's a decent wide open area in the middle, you got to get the correct flank, or Terran's pushes. They can, like, push from their gold base to your gold base, and this is why I really think taking the gold is a bad idea. I think it's a much better plan to just not take the gold base as the Zerg, and to say, let's not give them an easy base to kill. It's kind of like on Crimson Court, how a lot of Zergs are like, they're obsessed with taking the purple gas base, and it's so easy for Terran to punish. So I definitely hope Rogue shows us that modern style of, hey, just take the fourth, either up here on the top of our screen or on the middle left of our map, the 9 o'clock position, if we're meant to use the clock face. Which I still think is probably the most universal way of describing base locations. It's from StarCraft 1. I don't know why we moved away from that in StarCraft 2. I was not a pro player at the very start of StarCraft 2. I was not a commentator, but definitely not. So don't blame me. I was not part of that, but I'm surprised we moved away from it. I guess too many plebs got into it with casting StarCraft 2, and they're like, oh, we don't know how the clock face works. We only know how to read digital time. Sorry, guys. Just a bit of Brood War elitist. I'm not even a Brood War elitist at all, but that does sound like something they'd say. They're like, StarCraft 2 players don't know how to read a clock face because they're friggin' idiots. Low IQ moron gamers who just want everything to die instantly, and they don't even know how to click on separate buildings or multiple building selection. What a bunch of idiots. Anyways, double Reaper opening for Beon. Doesn't find any damage so far. Good positioning for Rogue, but he's got to stay in good position because these Reapers having this double edge can actually be quite annoying. Ooh. Nice Spore Trick. Good micro for both sides. And it is a quick third command center. Third command center started 50 seconds ago, guys. This is the power of the gold base. Already got some very nice moolah coming in. Starport going onto the tech lab behind it as well, no doubt. And we will probably be seeing a Hellion Banshee. Very typical opening at the moment. Nice snipe. Gets himself a creep tumor. Rogue has to hide the drone behind the third base. He does go back to mine. Roach Warren's on the way. No surprise here for Rogue, guys. Rogue has skipped Ling speed, so he's doing a modern Roach opening. Rogue really shied away from these for a long time. He preferred to go Ling speed, pretend he was playing, 7 Queens, 20 Zerglings, pretend he's playing Ling Bane, and then bam, surprise you with the 1/1 Roach Nidus. But I think realizing on this map that, hey, as long as you block this ramp, they can't really get up there, and you can actually make some good stuff happen. Reaper jumps up to the high ground. I think the other Reaper maybe got blocked there. I'm not quite sure what went on. Lairs on the way. It's only 2 gases. It's enough to build a handful of defensive roaches, but no more than that. Second and third barracks is on the way for Beon. So Beon's getting ready for a standard bio transition. But the Queen's well positioned. And once again, Rogue's doing this with a minimal Queen count. This is very old school. Sue still plays this style sometimes. He's kind of the only one. Another player who's... It's kind of fun when you get these players who come back from the military and they just bring back stuff from yesteryear. And I'm like, this isn't even what Rogue was doing before he went to the military, right? But he's just like, yeah, let's skimp. Skimp on the Queens. He's going to build a 7th one now. But he just wanted to get that layer up as quickly as possible. Second and third base. Where is the engineering base, guys? There we go. Okay, engineering base do now go down just before the 5-minute mark. And we'll see if Rogue can get his down before, say, 5 minutes 30. If he does, he won't be too far behind in the upgrades. I really wonder if he's going to play the Roaches into Ling Bane Viper, the kind of standard style that you see all the time in pro play at the moment, or if he plays the Roaches into Lurker style, right? Roach Hydra Lurker Viper is actually a really good style as well, but it's terrible on this map, in my opinion, because you can't kill them before they get enough tanks and ghosts out, and tanks and ghosts wreck. Double Evo Chamber does get down just before 5:30, so it'll be about a 30-second delay on 1/1 upgrades, which is perfectly fine for this matchup. Now, this was 2 Banshees, guys, and they do actually have Cloak as well. The Cloak comes in very late, right? The Banshees basically force Spore Crawlers, maybe catch a few transferring drones, and you just force it to be a little harder to macro than you'd like it to be. 1 drone tried to take the gold base. The Hellion sniped it. They're going to go for another one. Beon was looking for the second snipe there. Doesn't quite get it, but here we go. Banshees come in, going for the Queen. Wow. I mean, you can just bounce between the bases, just make it so he can't transfer drones easily, and obviously, as you see the Queens moving here, you do know that there's an Overseer. And that's actually really good for Rogue. Shuts down the Banshees as well. Rogue's already up 1 game in this series, and it's been a smooth opening for him this time around, losing very few units, right? 1 drone, 3 Zerglings. On the other hand, BYUN has got a quick third up. He's got double upgrades pumping, 5 barracks going. His armory's on time, which means he can start his 2-2 immediately, which so many players don't have. And Hydroden Infestation goes down, guys. It is going to be Roach Lurker. Now, like I told you, it's not a good style if they get enough tank and ghost up and just survive, because it doesn't scale very well, right? It's really hard. At a certain point, you're there with like 20 roaches left over in your army, 10 lurkers, some hydras, some vipers, and you're like, I really wish I had, you know, banelings and corruptors and ultras and all these other things that are a bit faster. They can jump on top and just overwhelm, like the ghosts especially. But Overseer does go down. That Overlord goes down as well. BYUN getting himself some value. Yeah, I feel like Nidus in the back, though. Rogue has this magic quality to be in a position where his army is expired, and he'll just win games there. So I think BYUN has to be on high alert if we get to that Lurker stage for Niduses in the back door. If he can block the Niduses, Rogue is kind of famous for over-committing to moves. Like, he doesn't just commit to a crazy Lurker Nidus. He's like, if this Lurker Nidus doesn't work, I have no follow-up plan. Like I will go there eventually, but, you know. Anyway, we'll talk more about Lurker Nidus once we get there. I just don't see him being able to kill BYUN before then. Unless BYUN's crazy and moves out to push. I was talking earlier about how, like, you know, sometimes Maru would do that. He'd know you're on Mass Roach and he'd just move out into you, and that's... The general theory, just to rehash this, because a lot of people... I had someone the other day asking me, and I was like, I feel like I've talked about Bio versus Roach Ravager theory so many times that I'm beating a dead horse, but someone was asking me a few questions that's watched a lot of my channel, and I was like, oh, you guys don't all know this? Basically, you just turtle till you're maxed. Once you're maxed, you get 2-2 upgrades, your army's way better than the Roach army. If you can hit just before the Hive Tech kicks in, before there's Lurkers and Vipers, the Roach Hydra should get destroyed by Marine Tank, Marine Marauder Tank especially. But if the Roach Hydra gets a really good angle where they're like flanking your army, maybe dropping some corrosive bios on siege tanks, if they can threaten that really good engage, make Terran have to be a little more careful, and then the Terran maybe misses their timing. And once Blinding Clouds come out on your siege tanks, Lurkers burrow and start shredding the bio, that equation turns around. And that's when Terran needs ghosts to counter the spellcasters, and they need to raise that tank count even more. BYUN's famous for going for an exceptionally high tank count. He often goes up to 15 plus tanks in the late game, and that tank count is incredibly weak to Broodlords. He's gotten away with it a lot because people don't play Broodlords very much. They think they're not very good anymore. But because of that, BYUN leaves himself wide open to it. So if you've really studied BYUN, your late game plan should always be a quick Broodlord swap. Now, Lurkerden does come down, but it's only coming down when the Hive's already finished. So this is just a Roach Hydra max. What's he doing? Don't attack! BYUN's in a really safe... Attacking with Roach Hydra right now would be crazy. BYUN's going to counterattack. Rogue planning a maxed out Roach Hydra attack has got to be one of the most balls-to-the-wall crazy plans I've seen in a little while. Spores should shut down these drops, especially if the Queens shoot down the Medivacs. He's going to attack on the right side. Oh, he's going to get rid of a tank. I mean, he does force the command center to lift. But behind it, he's lost 11 drones. Loses... I mean, units lost tab. You know what? He can recover, but he's rebuilding roaches right now. Oh no, this doesn't look good for Rogue at all, guys. BYUN setting himself up for late game. He's adding ghosts. He's on 8 barracks. He's got 2 factories pumping tanks. To be fair, his 4th base is established pretty slowly. So if he could get that lifted... Oh my gosh, this looks like a good fight. But wait, the Biles take out 1 Liberator, but only 1 Liberator. Yeah, it's a nasty spot to fight into there for Rogue. The tank shots are absolutely brutal. A little too clumped on those siege tanks where technically Biles could kill both. BYUN's going to reposition and fix that up now. Make sure he's not quite as vulnerable. But yeah, really well done there. Now, obviously, the Biles from the high ground harassing the gold is really cute here. But Rogue's on 74 workers, which is not that high. And his army sucks. He's on a Roach Hydra army against a big bio tank army. If he can, respread creep to the sides of the map, get map control with this army, and then slowly transition, that could be good. He's got Ling speed. I'd love to see him go for melee upgrades as well as +3 carapace now. He's still biling a few SCVs, being annoying. And he's got the Overseer there providing a big vision advantage. Forcing BYUN to scan constantly just to try and cover this base is very cute. Ravagers have good range, man. People forget just how good Ravager range is. And this is going to force BYUN to move some more tanks down here. Needs to get a tank in front of the command center or use the Ghost. That can work as well. And you can see that because this army is slow, the Ghost can run very far forward. Tank is going to get biled. Nice move. +3/3. He's going to go 3/3 range. Oh man, Rogue's doubling down on the range army. To be fair, Rogue uses the ranged army better than just about any other Zerg. I do think though, right now, on paper, like BYUN just has a much better position. It really comes down now to if Rogue can do some clever BS and get BYUN to make some mistakes. Like if he can keep BYUN on 4 bases right now, start mining this base, start mining this base. If you can start mining out these forward bases, you know, you can use this forward position very well. But anytime push comes to shove, you've got a lot of roaches in your army. They're going to get destroyed by tank fire. Ghosts are just going to be generically very good. There's an Overlord up top. He knows about the Nidus. Remember what I said? You have to be worried about the Nidus Worm. This is absolutely how Rogue is always looking to win, is Nidus Worms. 2019, oh, hold on. Roach Hydra getting big damage on them. BYUN holding strong. BYUN's really improved as a big turtle late game player, remember, guys. It's never been his favorite style, but he's so much better at it now. And look at this. The Overlords are ready to sacrifice. So he's going to sacrifice a bunch of Overlords to get vision, but BYUN knows it, so he's got Marines ready. The only weakness is BYUN should have 3-4 turrets on this right side to stop the Overlords getting in there as well. And you can see, like, Rogue's like, okay, there's too many turrets. I actually can't get in. He's got double Nidus Worm. So as I was saying, back in 2019, we had a World Championship at BlizzCon where Rogue was the bad guy. Basically, he was literally not really practicing StarCraft for most of the year, not really performing very well. Halfway through the year, he came out and just won GSL, famously said in an interview, oh, I didn't even realize Zerg's so broken right now. I hadn't played any of this patch. I've been playing MapleStory for the last 6 months. You know, so I hopped on ladder and I won 50 games in a row easily. So I figured I could just win some money. So I decided to go. I'm paraphrasing and exaggerating, but this is basically the gist of it. Was him saying Zerg's really broken, and the other Zergs were complaining about balance, and he showed how broken Nidus Worm was at that time. Crushed that GSL, went to the World Championship, and ruined so many Protoss players' dreams. This is a BlizzCon which I was kind of famously a bit annoyed at Blizzard for, because I realized it dawned on me maybe a week or two, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks before that we were playing it on the current map pool, and it was the worst map pool ever. Like, Nidus Worm was overpowered on it, and I was like, oh, surely we should use a mixed max map pool, and they're like, no, the rules are like locked in. And I was like, guys, like, Nidus Worm is just going to kill every Protoss player. This is such an unfair map pool. And they're just like, no, locked in, can't change it now. I'm like, do you want this tournament to be crap? Like, no one wants to play on this. The Zergs will agree to not play on this. The only guy who would be annoyed is Rogue, and even Rogue wouldn't. Rogue's blatantly talking about how broken it is. There was so many maps where you could just, like, backdoor them with Nidus Worms from, like, 17 different angles. It was a crazy map pool. They didn't change it. I think they maybe did one small nerf to the Nidus, but this was back, I think Nidus was, like, invulnerable. I think they stopped making it invulnerable while it was popping, but it still was so good. And he was just killing people left, right, and center with those Nidus Worms. And it was kind of crazy. And it was Classic managed to kill him with a Blink Dark Templar cheese and a bunch of weird all-ins that got him before he got to Nidus Worm him. And that was like, you know, everyone was like, Classic saved the tournament. Yeah, it wasn't just a guy spamming Nidus Worms. This is a famous story I give because Rogue is a master of finding cracked BS, a master of abusing stuff. And right now, the man has decided to build 27 Changelings. I don't know what BYUN's doing, moving into Lurkers repeatedly here. This has got to be some of the worst micro I've seen from BYUN in a little while. But dude, there are 400 Changelings. You're gonna block me from getting my Nidus Worm? Not if I send 400 Changelings. Now guys, you don't need to A-click on a Changeling. A lot of people have this misconception, a lot of level players, that you got to A-click. You can just right-click on these with your units. They will gun them down. You can shift-click on them as well. It's still a lot of clicking to get rid of them. Rogue's gonna shove the Lurkers on the left side. This is such a silly move. BYUN did just throw away a lot of his ghosts. This is such a silly move. I kind of love it. I kind of hate it. As long as BYUN just keeps scanning and keeps inching his tanks forward, he's getting at such efficient trades. He's already up 8,000 resources. This is crazy play by Rogue. But Rogue, he's popping the Nidus within the minimal firing range, so the tank actually can't shoot it. The reason the tanks are there. Now, Rogue's actually done this a few times recently, guys, and we're going to have to do an analysis video about this mass overseer. He just spent 1,300 minerals and gas morphing those overseers. 1,350, because it was 27 overseers. Now, what this does is it taxes your opponent's APM. I think this is probably worthless versus Clem, because he has 1,000 APM pretty much non-stop, and it costs him nothing. But for a normal player, constantly having to click on these Changelings to stop him getting vision is so annoying. And look, he missed it. He missed one, which means right now he's got vision. He could throw another Nidus on that tank. And that's Rogue is just looking to overwhelm BYUN with silliness and by making him click. This is, at low level, this is broken because people can't keep up. And you're going to get Changelings. And at my level, this is broken. I wouldn't be able to keep up with this. I don't know if this really works versus top Terrans. I mean, I know it can maybe work versus like Gumiho, who's a little slower than like Clem. But look at this, just the amount of stress. This is, you're paying thousands of resources in a game where you're trading terribly. It's a tempo play. If this doesn't work to get the Nidus up, or to get some sort of game-winning position, it's really bad. And he's not mining the forward bases as well. If he mines the forward bases, this might actually be worth it. But because he's not mining the forward bases and he's not got the kill move, look at how inefficient he's been. And that's not even counting the almost 3,000 resources he's spent on Nidus Worms that haven't actually done anything yet. Now, don't get me wrong, they could do stuff, right? The Nidus Worms could absolutely do stuff, and they are distracting Beon. But remember, if this game goes to the map being mined out, we're going to be regretting spending not just the 3,000 resources on the Overseers, but also the thousands of resources on the Nidus Worms that aren't getting up. He's going to bust through a planetary tank position. Oh my lord, one tank goes down for an entire Zerg army. This is not good. And this is, people were asking me all week, they said, Pig, have you seen Rogue's new Overseer strategy? And I was like, I don't know, man. That looks really dumb. It looks like if you can get in, like it's an all-in. It's basically, I have more bank. I'm going to overwhelm you with Nidus Worms. And if you can break through, it's worth it. But if you can't, it's a terrible investment late game. That's essentially it. It's just, this is a, I need to kill you in the early late game, because the longer this goes, the worse this is going to get for Zerg. But he's not giving up yet. That Zerg remax potential, man. But it's the planetaries and the tanks behind it do these 4 more tank sieging. Even if he busts the planetary, look at the tank fire. The Overseers sieging on top don't actually do anything, guys. I know it looks impressive. They're not doing anything. Yes, a planetary goes down, but how many Zerglings and Lurkers did he have to spend for that? And of course, Beon's going to counterattack, kill a base in the bottom at the same time. Beon is all over Rogue right now. Rogue's strategy is absolute Gronk tactics, guys. Remember what I said earlier? If you've studied Beon, you know he overcommits to siege tanks, and Broodlords is a winning play versus him in the late game every single time. Rogue has not done that homework, and neither have a lot of other players, because I've seen a lot of players let Beon get away with this. He has 20 siege tanks. He started Aspire now, but I think this is something you've got to bring prepared to an anti-Beon match. If you play Lurkers, be ready to force him into heavy tank and then pivot. Dude, Beon is crushing him, though. Beon is crushing him, because Mass Tank just wrecks Mass Lurker. The Hydra Ling is getting overwhelmed. Look at the units lost tab. Worse than 2-to-1 trading, and I feel so vindicated, because it took me one moment glancing at a different match. I think it was Rogue versus Gumiho, where he did this, and I was like, this isn't good, guys. And I was like, well, and then I was like, well, don't get me wrong. It's got bonus sides, right? It's cool when it works, but like, I think this would have been better if Rogue played Lingbane to start. I think Lurkers on this map is, like I said, not a great play, because it's so easy to turtle up using that ridge we were talking about from the very start of this game. Because you just don't have as much maneuverability, whereas if he had Lingbane smashing into this right side with Vipers earlier, and then he pops the Nidus Lurker as like the final cherry on top and starts spamming the Overseer Changelings, I think that would be fantastic. As it is, 3 Vipers are now coming out. He's got triple Nidus, and it's, you know what's funny, guys, is Nidus is outside Beon's base, so that he can quickly reinforce from the back door to the front door, just like that. Downside is it could get taken down, man. I'd love to see some Nuke Harass. I think Rogue would struggle with Nuke Harass right now. Beon hasn't really got the room to do it. He's going +3 vehicle weapons, +1 army. He's on 21 siege tanks, which, like I said, is probably too many. And I really want to see that great Aspire. Spire is now finished for Rogue. Rogue's still going for mass changelings, guys. The APM tax, as we call it. Yeah. And let's see, Beon's he's gonna click it. You gotta click him. Click him with the siege tanks. I mean, he does actually damage his own buildings a fair bit with the splash damage. That's hilarious. Now, yeah, Rogue has not mined out any of the middle bases. If Beon can deny these a few more times and then eventually get to mining them out himself, I mean, he's got so much more money. Beon should have this game in the bag. It's just a matter of, can you now adjust to the Lingbane Viper composition? But as we said, Beon's still become a much better late game player. I'm still very critical of Beon's ability to finish late games. We've seen in the past that like he gets impatient. Full medevac. Two medevacs go down there. He will get impatient. Oh, 3 changelings stuck in the back door. Watch out, Beon. He gets impatient and he just starts attacking. Him and Clem kind of have the same MO, where they both are so comfortable attacking and they're just nowhere near as comfortable when it comes to defense. Triple Nidus unload. Oh my gosh. Dude, he's going to break this barracks wall so quickly. Dude, that one siege tank gets shreked. And he's going to lose like a Ghost Academy and a bunch of production. This is annoying more than anything, but notice Rogue will now unburrow, pop back in the Nidus and shove the front. Blinding Cloud, that's it. The Ling Viper. Dude, this is a sick move. This is a sick move. Beon sent too much army to counterattack, left himself open. Beon defended perfectly for 10 minutes, and then he let his guard down, and that's when Rogue gets in. Changeling, triple Lurker Nidus in the back door. Oh my gosh, Ling Hydra Viper in the front door. Beon He had this game in the bag, and he dropped his trousers. He thought he was protected. You guys know when you see a dog that's about to do a poo, and it takes that nervous little look around because it knows it's about to be an exposed position? We saw Beon just take that look around, drop his trousers. He thought no one was around. Rogue swung out of the trees, Tarzan style, hanging on a vine, and literally kicked him in the face. Beon fell over in his own poo and just took massive damage. That was ridiculous. Still at half the cost efficiency, but he killed 2 building command centers. He killed like 4 command centers there. Look, 4 command centers died, 2 orbitals and a planetary have died. That's massive. Not only that, he kicked Beon off one of his most important bases. That was absolutely huge, man. How many tanks we got? 19. Oh, extra factories building. He's on 2 factories. How many barracks? 7 barracks, 2 factories. You can see killing this with tanks is annoying. Now, for those who don't know, in late game, this is so annoying having to click on these. Protoss players will regularly, at the top level, Storm Changelings because they can't be bothered clicking on it. And it's a valid thing. Oh no, Beon's going to lose another command center. Oh, Rogue's decided to let it live. If he drops a mule, he can repair that right now. Drop a mule, drop a mule, drop a mule, bro. Drop a mule, Beon. Oh my gosh, Rogue just let him keep it. Guys, you guys don't understand how good command centers are for the late game. They are what keep you alive. Now, Beon has such a big bank, he's not going to die here. He can just like slowly rebuild, guys. But this gives Rogue map control, which means he can now mine this map, this base. He should try to mine this top one as well right now. He should absolutely transfer all of his workers. Like these guys as well. No, it's a shame, guys. So Rogue, like so many players, has not adapted to the modern age of StarCraft 2 in this regard. You know, I rant about this a lot, but like, why are you mining this base, which is safe, when you could just fully mine this base? Same thing here. He's finally getting 15 workers there, but he should have moved from this base, and he should be taking the gas as well. Gas will matter in the late game, especially for him as the Zerg player. But even for Terran quite a lot of the time. So very lazy, in my opinion, that top players are still ignoring that. I'll keep harping on about it. People say, what do you mean lazy? Don't blah, 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 blah. He's got map control. There's nothing happening right now. He's just mass singling Bane and sending Changelings in. There's no reason not to fully saturate these bases minutes earlier. And that's something I really will keep on harping on about. Just a small efficiency gain that Rogue's leaving on the table. Then again, Dark's one of the best Zergs in the world while doing that. But I would argue that Dark would be a multiple-time world champion if he fixed up those little details. I think Dark's actually more clutch than Rogue when it comes to like comebacks and crazy. I think Rogue's a better planner than Dark for sure. But Dark has like that it factor, kind of like Raynor. Like, you know, Rogue is Serral, Dark is Raynor, I think is like a pretty good example. Ooh, doesn't hold up exactly, but kind of. Oh, blinding clouds, blinding clouds, blinding clouds on every single tank, dude. Massive Ling Bane assault. The Banelings need to hit the planetary, though. The Banelings are all just standing under the Overseers right now. I know it's hard to see. The Banelings did not help against the planetary. The Lings finally take it down, but he could have blown up a lot more SCVs as well. Lurkers in the back door. Going to take out +2 armor on the vehicle plating. Nice. Armory does go down. He's going to try and evacuate. Does get a bunch of those Lurkers back to the Nidus Worm. Hydraling does clear this right side base, and dude, Rogue once again finds some more value. From better than 2-to-1 trading, Beon is now at 33,000 resources lost, Rogue at 50,000. I mean, 17,000 resources lost is a lot, but from where this game started, what a comeback Rogue is making right now. What an absolutely impressive comeback. And it all comes off the back of him with the triple Nidus rotate, right? It was the, I'm going to do the Lurkers there, but then I'm going to hit the front at the same time. I'm going to have that mobility, that ability to push out. And you can only build the Nidus Worms that close to their base if you really understand that they are super turtled up. And this is something I love to see players not just say, like, he's not going to build 3 Nidus Worms here as a standard strategy. This is a response to the fact that when Beon plays late game, he sits there and just camps for like a good 7 to 8 minutes, building mass command centers and upgrades before he really moves out. And Rogue said, cool, I'm going to use this window to get momentum. He's still on now 33 Overseers, and he's lost how many? 7. So he's built 40 Overseers this game, guys. I just want to remind you that's 2,000 minerals and 2,000 gas. Every Nidus Worm is also 75 minerals and 75 gas. Do we see how many Nidus Worms? 31. Oh my lord. So that's 150 resources per Nidus Worm. It's about to be 32. You guys could just give me the total number. If let's say he's going to get to 50. 50, what's 50 times 150? That's 75. Is that 70? 7,500. 7,500 resources. If he gets to 50 Nidus Worms, that's 7,500 resources in dead Nidus Worms. Oh my lord. That is ridiculous. Lurkers popping out and dying. A few Marines and Marauders getting cleaned up by the Lingbane. I love the creep on the doorstep. This feels really oppressive as the Terran. He's trying to stop the Changelings. It's like, you have to keep clicking. Hey, Beon, I hope you like clicking on my Changelings. Beon's like, no, I don't like clicking on it. Can you stop? Look, because look, he looks away. He doesn't realize there's more Changelings. Here they come. Hello. Hey guys, I'm totally one of the guys. I'm definitely a normal Terran person. My name's Billy Bob. My wife's my sister. And I like guns and freedom, and I hate those bugs. The Terrans all look at him, raise an eyebrow, and they're like, yeah, he seems like one of the boys. And they're like, you know, continue through the base. At the last second, he's like, I don't know. I don't know what he did to let them off. One of them got suspicious and tried to shoot him. Anyways. We've got Overseers hanging out front. The Lingbane there as well. Siege Tank on the Watchtower is going to be nice to push him back. We still, against 25 Siege Tanks, have not seen a single Broodlord. Guys, he's so open to Broodlords. He's so open to Broodlords. For those who don't know, BYUN a few months ago played mech every single Zerg vs Terran in weekly cups for 2 weeks straight. He dominated every single Zerg player in the early and mid game. And then do you know what happened? He lost every game to Broodlords. He won like 2 games versus Solar's Broodlord. The number of games BYUN was up 80 supply with mech and he lost to 6 Broodlords was absolutely befuddling. Mass attack coming in. The Vipers, blinding clouds everywhere. The Lingbane Hydra tank comes in. And I mean, he blows up a lot of stuff, but dude, that was so many Banelings. Oh my lord. I mean, he does kill a lot of stuff. BYUN's bank is pretty small. Dude, how many... Have we got a Chad Hammer? How many kills do these tanks have? 58 kills on that tank. 35 kills on that tank. Yeah, we got to do a kill check. 11, 25, 16, 36, 42, 8, 0. 48 kills on that tank. 0 kills on that tank. 9 kills and 23. So, I mean, he's definitely getting some Chad Hammer tanks. He does need to try to reestablish this top base, I guess, is going to be big. Lings do surround a Marauder. I mean, for Rogue, you've got to wonder how much mining he has left. He has a few minerals in the back that he hasn't mined yet, which is kind of nice, right? Like, he's got a few gold minerals and this sort of stuff. This base, he's going to retransfer workers to. This base is half gone. That base is half gone. If he could take this top base, like, any mining you get off that top base is damage dealt to your opponent, and that could be really, really impactful. Still throwing up Nidus Worms. How many have we lost now, guys? He's throwing another one over on the right side as well. The Changelings continue. 37 dead Nidus Worms. He's going to hit, I think he might hit 10,000 resources lost. How many Nidus Worms would it be to hit 10,000, guys? Is that like 70, 75, something like that? I guess it would be 66, wouldn't it? 66 Nidus Worms, or 67 would tick you over to 10k resources lost on Nidus Worms. Another Nidus Worm's going to get up in the back. The Marines and the tank should be able to get rid of that. He's going to pop a few Zerglings out, but not going to be able to achieve anything. Mass attack on the front again. Lingbane, Hydra, Viper. So many Banelings. The Blinding Clouds are insane. The Banelings going for the Ghosts. The Ghosts. Oh, a beautiful arc of Ghosts defends. And even without a Planetary Fortress, it's going to be big. A few of the Overseers and Hydras get sniped on the way out. Units lost tab 26,000 resource lost advantage for BYUN. BYUN's going to immediately flow to command center to the north. Has he got a planetary coming up? No, he's just making more orbitals. This is what I'm talking about. He took so much damage from losing those planetaries earlier, guys. So much. Now, there are still Masslings inside the Nidus Worms. The Remax for Rogue. I mean, Rogue hasn't made up his mind on what he's making, guys. Rogue's literally just sitting there scratching his chin. He's not building. He has 33 lava and he's just chilling. He's not even injecting his hatcheries. Rogue is taking his hands off the... He's going to take a pee break. Guys, Rogue's gone to take a pee break. What? He's not even injecting his hatcheries and he doesn't even have that much lava. He's spreading a creep tumor on the right side of the map. He's running 20 Zerglings around. Is Rogue trying? What's he do? Okay, now he builds 15 Hydras. Okay, BYUN is broke in terms of money, but for some reason, Rogue's letting him take the top base. Rogue, you just need to remax. Deny that top base. Like, BYUN's so low on money. I mean, even if you do that, I don't know if you'll get an efficient enough fight to break him because Rogue's income is definitely starting to dry up. But, I mean, right now, you've still got 2,000 minerals a minute. You can even take this base here. He's building, so 15 Hydras, and then he's just going to keep trying to Nidus Worm. He's just like, Nidus. Now, no, BYUN, you're not actually leaving yourself open to Nidus. I think he's expecting an attack in the front. By the way, Rogue has a Changeling in the... He's got Changelings in the RV. He has a whole bunch. You just can't click on them all, especially once they're in amongst your Marines and Marauders. It's almost impossible to see them. Another Nidus Worm comes up. Another Nidus Worm comes back. Surely Rogue cannot throw this as Trofast. What are you talking? I mean, remember, guys, BYUN had like an 8,000 bank advantage on him and was like up 20,000 resources in the trading. Has Rogue had a lot of success since then? Yeah, he has. But, I mean, it's from a massive deficit. This game has been... It truly has been. This has been some George R.R. Martin sort of stuff. We're talking about a Game of Thrones. We're talking about one guy's ahead, and then he's like, nah, I'm going to chuck a Cersei and just kill all my allies because I'm a paranoid dumbass, you know? Like, there's been some questionable decisions on both sides, guys. And remember, I think he'll win by the bank, but he's not maxed out. Remember, he's got to spend a lot more bank to max out, and BYUN's bases are a little bit fresher, I do believe. Like, this top left base, I think, has most of the resources left on this map, and this one here. Nidus Worm still going up in the back. I think the next fight decides this game, probably, right? If Rogue can, like, deny this... I do think Rogue could probably... I mean, he should be denying this top base for sure, right? Or he should be shoving the right side and breaking into the production. Just on the ground. Like he should basically threaten this left side with Zerglings and a few units, and he should shove the right towards the production. He doesn't need to Nidus Worm. Just, you know, maybe just go half and half. Half the army, start clearing depots and factories and infrastructure and pushing his vision back on that right side. And then you can dart in on this side, try to blow up the command center, run away. I am surprised that Rogue now is going Infestors. He still has not made a single Broodlord. To be fair, now it wouldn't be good to go Broodlords because there's only 7 tanks. So he's kind of missed the Broodlord window by 23 minutes here. I'm kidding. Not, what, 20? 20 minutes probably? 12 minutes probably would have been optimal Broodlord timing. Can you put a Changeling into a Nidus Worm? Good question. I have no idea. I'm going to assume yes. Twitch chat, let us know if someone can go look that one up. Why is it units don't auto-attack revealed Changelings? They do auto... Yeah. Don't they? Or no, you mean like once the detection is there? Yeah. I guess you'd need to ask the people that designed the game. Right. I thought you meant when they were still in like bug form. Because, you know, basically they start as like GUI boys, but then once they see an enemy unit, they transform into a Marine... Zealot or Zergling based off of that faction, right? You see, as they get the vision, as they see this SCV, they transform. But yeah, I guess you guys are asking like, hey, once the missile turret reveals they're not real, why don't they just kill them, right? You know, standing order, eliminate all Changelings would be kind of nice, wouldn't it? This top base mining out, it's BYUN's lifeline right now. It's keeping him in this game. Now, there is Infestors and Vipers and Hydraling Bane. The massive Banelings is the scary thing for Rogue. You got to realize, like, his army can totally wallop BYUN's, but if he takes the fight just a little bit wrong, all of his Banelings are going to clump up, and they're just going to get wrecked. This Infestors, man. Has he got Neural? He doesn't have Neural yet. Not having Neural yet is kind of crazy. Where are the other Infestors? I guess they're all in the army, right? 6 Infestors in the army, 2 on the top right, very deep in enemy territory, and BYUN's playing Changeling Clicking Simulator. Oh my god. Oh my lord. Dude, this has got to be the most painful minigame. This is, like I said, this is not a cost-efficient move. This is a terrible move long-term, but it's literally about tilting your opponent. Guys, I think we're really cluing into Rogue's strategy. It's not about, is this the most effective way to win the game? Is this the most annoying thing you can do? And what's something I've always said in StarCraft? What's a good litmus test for, is your strategy good? Number one, does it piss off your opponent? If your opponent's getting annoyed, it's probably an effective strategy, at least somewhat, right? Is it the most effective? No. But it's just so annoying. BYUN's like, can you just get out of here, man? Thank you so much, Jacob, for the massive sub gift, by the way, dude. Been a while, mate. Hope you're not too busy. Thanks so much for the love. Catch up with you after this game. We've got a bunch of Marine Marauder Ghost over here as well. Those Infestors still just chilling. That base gets denied. There's only, what is that, like... I don't know what that left mineral patch has, but I think it's probably like 500 minerals on that base. This base over here, more importantly, Rogue's stealing these minerals, which is awesome. Getting that hatchery to pay for itself and then some. These minerals need to be mined, so Rogue needs to make sure he doesn't chuck a Showtime or a... I think it was Zest in one game as well. Forgot he had 2 gases he never mined and like lost the game because he could only make Zealots against TY's mech, right? It was Zest, right? Who made that mistake? Was it Zest or... I think it was Zest or Classic. Someone... but yeah, he's got minerals here. He's got like minerals there. He's got another 800 minerals there. He's got, you know, okay, these minerals he's mining. He should mine these out. That's still 80 minerals. He's still, okay, he's got 1 drone in the main, but that's still 900 minerals on that patch. He's still got 300 minerals there. Like, Rogue has to make sure he actually mines, and this base has got tons. Rogue should have this game in the bag still, right? Because this base only has maybe 3,000 minerals. So BYUN's going to mine 3,000. Actually, this base... How does this base still have... I guess this base has been attacked so many times, he never mined this base out. He's actually got another 3,000 or more minerals here. Wow. Oh, I was not expecting that. Okay, here we go, guys. It's the click simulator. Have fun, Beon. Have fun stopping my Nidus worms from getting in your base. And he's like, look, Rogue's like, yes, I'm damaging the depot. I just got that depot to half-life. Didn't cost me anything but energy. Drones are now getting thrown away because Rogue wants to replace it with more army. Let's check the Nidus kill count. 42 killed Niduses, guys. It looks like we're not going to quite get to the 7,500 resources on dead Niduses. But remember, he's lost 8 Overseers and made 30. So 40 Overseers, that's 2,000 minerals, 2,000 gas. So in total, on the Nidus plus Mass Overseer, Rogue has spent about 11 or 12,000 resources. Now, obviously, it's made this game stressful and difficult for Beon. But at the end of the day, we do have to realize that Beon is currently up almost 30,000 resources in the trading, which is nothing to scoff at. And here we... Drones. Just want to be one of the boys. I want to get in there and fight some of these dirty Terrans. What is this? A supply depot? What the hell is a depot anyway? It's very despotic, isn't it? Us Zergs, we're part of the commune, man. We all are equal, you know? We don't have bloody stupid Lord Emperor Mensk or anything like that. No. We're all equal, and we all give our lives equally for the cause. Oh god, here they come, oh god, oh man, there's so many of them, oh my lord, oh lord. And they just keep coming, and they just keep coming, and they just keep coming, and they just keep coming. Crawling. We're crawling. Yeah, it's like, yeah, this is a strategy Rogue's doing, guys. Rogue here is doing a strategy. He's a strategical genius. He's doing it. So Beon's just chilling, which makes sense for him. Rogue is on Massling Bane Hydra, which is a tempo I'm going to overwhelm you style. But he's decided now to use it defensively. Rogue has kind of stopped making plays. He's like, yeah, I don't think you can break me on creep. I'm going to wait for you to make a doo-doo. Now, historically, Beon has made a lot of doo-doos in late game. But he has been getting more patient. If Beon shoves on creep, guys, I will be very disappointed. Now, if on the other hand, if Beon inches forward, slowly clears creep, landing command centers in front of him to kind of wall off areas, I mean, I could imagine, you know, you could very slowly clear this map. It's just so mechanically difficult to clear the creep, inch your tanks forward without getting exposed to the Zergs swinging around and like base trading you or catching your army with those blinding clouds and infestors with neurals and stuff. It's tough, man. It's very tough. Rogue's late breaking rocks right now. Rogue really needs to pay attention to these minerals, by the way, guys. He's still got only 17 drones. I guess he's just sitting on a 178 supply army, so he doesn't actually have excess drones. But he definitely should mine all that eventually. Beon is stealing minerals right now, guys. He stole like 25 minerals from that. Look at that. He's like, oh, yeah, I got 25 minerals off that patch. Yeah, boy. Little does he realize. Beon probably doesn't realize that there's still minerals here. Like, there's quite a few minerals. He could do some raids. Drop a scan, drop some mules, try to get some minnows. A couple of Marines, Marauders, and Ghosts are going to poke forward on this side. Liberators, do they have lib range? Guys, he never got lib range. So he's actually got 6 libs. He's going up a few more. But he doesn't actually have the lib range. 21 Ghosts, 18 Siege Tanks. Wow, that's a big tank count. No Thors or Vikings. At this point, you don't really care about defending your position as much as Beon, though. So even if Broodlords were to come out, I don't know, man. 21 Ghosts, the ability to quickly produce Vikings, Thors, that sort of stuff. To be fair, only +1 vehicle plating is a thing. He's going to steal the gold minerals. Beon's like, lol. Quick nighttime raid, guys. Beon does that attack, he clears creep, and he steals 50 minerals. Literally wrecked Rogue. Rogue, can you get out of this game? Can you just accept that you're losing right now? You just got heisted, son. He responds, Rogue's counter is to make 80 changelings. But it doesn't matter, Beon doesn't care. Beon just stole another 50 minerals. 25 minerals per mule trip, guys. Look at this, he's like, you think that counters this? Dude, I'm stealing your minerals, get wrecked, nerd. Dude, does he get another trip? I don't even know if he'll be able to return it, but even just taking it from the mineral patch does stop Rogue from using it. This is probably reminding Rogue that these minerals exist more than anything, to be fair. Look at that, guys. 25 more minerals down from the mineral patch. This one, down to 220. Yeah! Beon making bank right now. Remember, it's not just 25 minerals for each mule trip. You're also denying 25 minerals from Rogue. So even this one where he mines the minerals just before the mule runs out. Oh no, the mules died before they could finish mining it. These SCVs, they also want to be some of the boys to Valhalla. There's no better death than fighting a giant protrusion and drilling it while it penetrates you with its big spiky head. Yeah, it's a manly way to go down for sure. You're going to Valhalla. You're going to get to dine in Valhalla, drink some mead out of a big spine crawler shaped horn as your trophy to celebrate your final battle. It's going to be a good time, man. So right now, Rogue's strategy has gone from send changelings in to send them in from surprising angles. Look at this, guys. He'll never see it coming. He'll be like, well, that's not where Rogue's base is. They must be my Marines. Like, hey, guys, I'm totally Terran man. I like to imagine every single one of the changelings is just like, do you guys remember the first Men in Black film, the Cockroach Man? They're like, sugar water, you know? They're just like sugar watering, and they're trying to get the Marines and Marauders to be their like farmer wife and stuff while wearing overalls. It's essentially that whole interaction. It's not particularly convincing. Unless you're in a community where copious amounts of methamphetamine are being used on the regular, where you're like, yeah, that could just be a regular person that's not an alien. And I don't know too much about Terran culture, to be fair, in the Caprilu sector, so who knows, maybe they do take a lot of meth. Like, they might see a person like that and go, yeah, that's just your regular space meth user, you know? That's just a guy who's hitting it up. Okay, guys, so Rogue at this point has stopped trying to win, which is fair enough. I mean, if he impales himself on BYUN's position, at this point, it's, like, dumb. If he broke this top base earlier, I would have liked it. But, like, it felt like he just kind of was like, this isn't working. I'm being too wasteful. And he's just chilling. BYUN is still mining these minerals out little by little. It's going to take him forever, but, you know, he's getting them. Rogue is not mining these minerals. I mean, if I was Rogue, I would literally be, like, immediately sending 4 drones here to take as many minerals as possible. And I'd be hanging out with Zerglings, making sure he can't mine those minerals. Because I'm like, every mineral matters. But I think Rogue at this point is just like, I don't care, man. I mean, 500 minerals isn't going to matter. If I just chill, we got this. Now, I think this is a perfect moment for us to do a bit of analysis, guys. Is the Overseer strategy good? I honestly think if you regularly find yourself in stalemates as an average Joe on the ladder, all the way up to mid-Grandmaster, even high Grandmaster, yeah, this is a good way to tax your opponent. Now, what you need to do regularly is you need to either have your Overseers on a separate hotkey, or you just need to go back to your army, control-click, hold the Changeling key down with rapid fire as quickly as possible, or really high repeat rate. Control-click the Changelings, click them on the minimap. And you just need to do this like every 20 seconds. Just drop Changelings, control-click them into his base. BYUN's going to kill another hatchery here. Very nice. Killing hatcheries is good because it makes it really hard to reproduce because these larvae are now no longer on a hotkey. Right, so that's one of the things. He does have 128 larvae available. One Changeling sneaks by. Nope, does get focused. Very nice. And how many orbitals is there, guys? There's 8 orbitals for BYUN. Now, BYUN also hasn't mined open his mineral wall. Guys, everyone forgets about this 80 minerals. Game-changing. Game-changing minerals right there. These mules still mining out this patch little by little. And here we go. The Changelings are just going, man. Now, BYUN, close to 30,000 resources more efficient. He's going to inch his tanks forward little by little. And to be fair, he should be able to, I feel like, beat Rogue. Because he's got 11,000 bank. Yeah, Rogue's got 17,000, but still... But still. Rogue has so much minerals, though. He can actually throw away a lot of Zerglings, can't he? I mean, you just have to be so slow, right? So the thing is, BYUN's like very slowly advancing, but how do you move? How do you corner Rogue? And at this point in the game, I guess you have to get to the hatcheries. If you get to the production and the tech, it kind of forces Rogue to fight, right? Spinecrawler tries to take out a Marauder. Marauder says no. Do you guys think if you take enough stim packs, you look like that Men in Black character I was talking about? Or nah? Saves the Marine with the medevac. Every little bit matters. Edgar, that was his name. It's iconic character. Rogue isn't even playing right now. Not really, guys. He's chilling. He's sending Changelings. Now remember, guys, Rogue, like I said, he trolled with Nidus Worms because he thought it was effective. I don't know. Does he think this one's effective? I really feel like he invested in the Mass Overseer so early. I mean, it did allow him to get some Nidus Worms up, right? To be fair, let's point out, guys, BYUN had this game in the bag until BYUN sent half of his army to kill this hatchery and then let the triple Nidus pop in the back. That was the moment where BYUN messed up, right? And then as he was cleaning up the Nidus in the main, the Mass Hydraling Viper broke this area, killed like 4 command centers in every siege tank. That was where BYUN kind of threw the advantage, because he'd played a perfect game up to that point. He made Rogue's strategy look horrendous. And like I said, I didn't really like the Roach Hydra Lurker style for this map. It's not a good map for it. It's too choked up. It's too easy for Terran to turtle to late game. So I don't know. I feel like even though Ling Bane can struggle as well to bust in, it's a bit more of a fluid style where you don't end up with like mass Roach chewing up your supply. Now, as it is, I am struggling to have things to commentate because neither player appears to be very rapidly trying to win. I think BYUN is basically saying, I'm the one who has the natural defender's advantage. The slower this goes, the better. And that's good. That's always good, right? On the other hand, Rogue has an army that is normally a tempo-based army, but he's just using it defensively. And he's got to keep spreading creep. I still think maybe it might be worth going around the right side with like just massling Hydra Vipers, leave the Banelings behind, pick off a few tanks, break some buildings, just like get rid of this and start, limit the vision of BYUN a little bit and make it so BYUN doesn't feel like, you know, like punish him for pushing down this left side of the map essentially. Look at the setup, by the way, guys. 19 tanks, 9 Liberators, a ton of Bio Ghost as well. He's going to try and clear that creep on the right. Don't get caught by Fungal though. Where are the Infestors? I guess because of the scans everywhere, he's not really using them anymore. Could definitely Fungal and catch some of these units though. Feels like Rogue's not trying super hard to ambush him. He has like a single Infestor out there that's kind of looking for BYUN to step too far forward. Look at these 2 Changelings just hanging out in the middle. We're totally normal guys, man. Just some of the boys playing ass grab over here in the middle of the scrum. Rogue, what's he saying? Oh my lord. He says, you suck, Terran Imba. BYUN says, Terran Imba, more like Zerg Poo-Poo Head. Oh, BYUN says, draw GG. Okay. Wow. Wow. All right, guys, is this actually a draw? Yeah, I mean, so basically, neither player's willing to fight. And to be fair, I can understand it. Essentially, BYUN saying, look, if I am going to try to finish this game, it will take me slowly creeping towards your main, but then you're going to counterattack. You're going to kill my main. Like, if BYUN moves his whole army to the bottom left, right, to clear the main, he knows he's going to lose all his production in his main, which means his bank is also forfeit. Anytime the game speeds up, he can't get caught unsieged. He has to be, like, methodically pre-sieged. So moving his army and his push it all just sucks. It's so painful. And Rogue's like, well, I'm not going to attack into your siege up unless I can catch you unsieged. And they've both just thrown in the towel? Dude, what a crazy game. And that means they have to rematch the same map. Now, I want to go back once again, guys, to where Rogue was absolutely getting demolished. It was like 20 minutes. And I just want to look at that moment one more time, because at this point, yeah. Look at this. Like these attacks were so ridiculous. Rogue was just trying to like surprise him, because a lot of the times Terran will just leave like 2 tanks covering an area, and he's just trying to like shove through with a surprising number of units. Basically, Rogue was doing like an old strategy called escalating. Like we would, you know, basically this is like a thing I used to coach people on. They'd be like, my Link counterattacks never do damage, Coach Pig, and I'd be like, oh yeah, like, and I look at their replay and I'm like, you sent 8 Zerglings. They're like, yeah, I always send 8 Zerglings. I'm like, the guy had a bunker. And they're like, yeah, so I guess I can't do any more damage with any counterattacks. I'm like, why don't you just send 10 Banelings and 40 Zerglings? They'll just instantly blow up the bunker and kill the whole worker line. People are like, oh, I can do that? I'm like, yeah. Well, Rogue takes that same example to a silly level where he's like, oh, I'm just going to shove 40 lurkers into a choke point and just siege on a planetary and one-shot it. So he'll just do stuff like this. Like, Rogue is a crazy guy. Rogue is not afraid to commit. Rogue, I would fear to see this man in a casino, because I feel like he'd just gamble like crazy. Like, he really is a massive gambler, always has been. Never afraid to take crazy risks. Now, was this the Nidus that gets up? Yeah, this was it. So this is the moment where Beon, at this point, guys, has the game in the bag. He literally has the game in the bag, and look at this mistake. He sends a pretty decent chunk of money, not that much actually, but he's also sending Biotank down to the bottom right at the same time. Yeah, so this is classic. Beon and Clem both do this mistake all the time, where all they need to do is turtle to win. That because they've had so many good successful fights, look at this, guys, 35,000 to 15,000. They're like, now it's my turn, and they just grab their army and move both sides of the map, and they kind of rely on the Zerg being pinned. And what he was not counting on is he's still spamming Changelings into your base. He's still trying to get that vision. He's got Changelings in the back. You did not wall him out or anything. He shuts down the drop, gets 2 medevacs. This army's just miles out of position. It's his only mobile units. And he just can't deal. And these Niduses were huge, right? Because these Lurkers did so much damage, but more importantly, not only did they kill a few barracks, kill some units, it distracted him, and this is the real attack. The Viper Ling on the front. It's mostly Zerglings, some Hydras, a few Banelings, and there's only tanks. There's no Ghosts, there's no Marines, there's no Marauders, the things that actually deal with the Zerglings. So he's Blinding Cloud and abducts all these siege units, gets 2 building command centers, a bunch of tanks, a bunch of SCVs get blown up. I mean, look at how much damage he gets there. 22 workers, 2 command centers. Does he get another one here as well? Looks like he gets another command center here. He might even get this one on the left, potentially. The Lurkers also get into the left side of the base. They get rid of the double armory, depots, all sorts of stuff. Bit of a mistake for Rogan that he didn't try to get an Overseer in, but it's kind of hard with so many missile turrets. You do need to try to get Overseers in the back, because otherwise Cloaked Ghosts can deal with you very easily. But that's just opened everything up, right? The game was horrendous up to this point, and then he traded actually better than even. He just lost 9,000 more resources. Beon lost over 10,000 there, which, when you've got this big of a bank advantage, is crazy good trading. I do think maybe Rogue could have carried it on from here, and I do think if at any point Rogue went Broodlords, it's literally a free win. And this is just a massive strategic weak point Beon has in the late game, is he is always so reliant on siege tanks to turtle. And unlike guys like Maru and Clem, who don't rely on siege tanks this heavily, and therefore they're not as weak to Broodlords, Beon has a massive strategic weak point there. If we get to late game again and Rogue goes Broodlords, I guarantee you, he will crush him. All right. Well, we're in the game 2, round 2, Beon in the top right side of this map. Once again, so we've got the same... Actually, no, sorry. Rogue was up top last time, right? No, Beon was up top. Rogue was in the bottom. And we are going to be doing it once again. And guys, there's something that's dawning on me. Not only is this just an annoying tactic that Rogue's doing to kind of annoy Terrans and make them play Click Simulator. Oh, I have to just keep clicking for 30 minutes. He's playing Beon. Can you imagine if he did this versus Beon? If Rogue had managed to qualify for the World Championship? Because Beon has, like, wrist pain issues at LAN. That would be diabolical. Whenever he's at LAN, he gets nervous and he gets really bad wrist pain. Can you imagine just spamming Changelings at him to defeat him? This is, like, kind of mean, but I guess, like, it's competition. You kind of can do whatever you want. Like, would you guys be on Rogue's side and say anything's fair in competition if he did that? Would you be like, oh my god, that's so evil, dude. You're literally breaking Beon's wrist. Beon's just there, like, trying to click on the Changelings and he just can't because he's in so much pain. You're just like, oh no. It's actually ridiculous, dude. I mean, it's brutal. It's, yeah. Is this a cheap move? Is it like eye gouging your opponent, or is it legit? I think it's legit. I think it's legitimate to do. I still don't think it's the most effective way to win the game, and I do once again get the sense that once Rogue gets past the mid game, it feels like he falls off a cliff in terms of his performance. And what I mean by that is, like, he's still got some good moves, but it just doesn't feel as fluid as, like, when we look at the modern, you know, Dark, Serral, Raynor, going into late game, dude, they're like attacking 3 places at once for 5 minutes straight. They really send a whirlwind at the Terran. It feels a bit more like Rogue's like, you know, I'm going to shove 20 Lurkers in and hope you're not expecting it. I'm going to... Don't get me wrong, there's an avalanche of Niduses in the back, and he did an amazing pounce once he got that opening on the front, but it just felt like... So I guess to explain this, because this bust on the left side with the Vipers was huge. That was amazing. The triple Nidus was great. It felt like there was like a 4-minute break before that where he gave Beon a bit too much time to get established. It feels like there's a few too many pauses in Rogue's play where he's letting the Terran get ready for him. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but that's my feeling right now. We're going to see if he can change it up. We're going to see if Beon's wrists can handle the slaughtering Because I think after having to click that much, I mean, I don't know, man. I would be tense in that late game. Having to spam click on Changelings that much has got to be stressful. And you gotta feel like it probably puts you in a defensive mindset because you just don't feel like you have the APM to spare to like go drop or anything. So especially as a guy like Beon who thrives when he's attacking all game, you gotta feel like this is just frustrating. This really takes me out of my element. You know your opponent has a blind spot in their eye. Should you prevent yourself from attacking that spot? Yeah, I mean, probably not, eh? Depends. If you and your buddy are just having a fun match, well, yeah, I would say so. But if you're competing to be the best, that's not very many people are going to give you a freebie there. I feel like Clem is a bit too nice. Clem might specifically like not try to take advantage of that, but I mean, Clem's whole play style is going to break your wrists anyway, right? He's so fast anyway, so he doesn't need to do anything bonus. He's already going to stress you out. Would the majority of players have asked for a draw if they were in that same position? I don't know if other players would have found themselves in the same position. Who finds himself in that position as a Zerg, where they're just sitting there with Ling Bane Hydra? I mean, maybe. It's really hard as both sides to engage. I do feel like the onus, once Rogue just started purely defending, the onus was on BYUN to finish that game. So I think for me, the question is, does the Terran accept it? I think a lot of Zergs would offer a draw in that scenario, just because he's given up momentum. For me, the odd point where Rogue kind of gave up a little bit was when he didn't try to bust the top left base. That was where I was like, oh, we're not going to try to take that down? What's happening? Bane bust? What is this? Why is the second gas so early? He hasn't started the Roach Horn yet. That's a very early second gas. Unless he's going to start a lair right now. What? 4-minute double Evo. Oh, my lord. Oh, Rogue is so crazy, dude. Rogue is going for the fastest upgrades of all time. And to be fair, if you start 1-1 early enough, can you actually have 1-1 finished for a 3 command center double barracks marine drop? So, because it's a 3cc 2-1-1, which means 3 command centers, 2 barracks, 1 factory, 1 starport. So this is the classic 16 marine drop, but it's done a bit later because you squeeze the 3rd command center in. And I have to wonder here, guys, if you could get 1-1 ready for the first drop, or at least soon after it arrives, this could be a hyper-efficient build. And I mean, Rogue knows what's happening, right? Because he saw the 2nd barracks with the Zergling. Very smart build order, if it times out. But I have a feeling BYUN's going to get over there just with Stim and Medivacs. Oh, wait, he cancelled his Medivacs. Guys, he just cancelled his Medivacs to start 1-1 upgrades. And now he's trying to restart them. Okay, well, now you definitely have your 1-1 ready in time. That's such a weird choice by BYUN to delay his Medivacs and his pressure. That should allow these upgrades to at least get close to finishing. Now, remember what I was saying last game? I don't like people, Zergs taking the gold. I love that Rogue's going for this 4th hatchery. I really enjoy that. I think it's just a safer way to play. It doesn't give as many freebies. Oh, the Zergling misses the army. He's standing in the fog. He should barely see these Marines, I think. The Marine's pulling back for a moment. He's waiting for those Medivacs. Medivacs are not boosting to the front, though. There we go. Now they come forward. Starport lifts off. Barracks lifts onto the reactor. 4th and 5th barracks are coming in as well. He's going to build that reactor in the back. Armory goes down as well. Nice setup for BYUN right now. BYUN does have the Marines with Stim. The Zerglings in the fog does get spotted. It runs away, though. 1-1 will not be finished. Yeah, okay. 1-1 before this timing would have been impossible. But it's still very quick. As long as he can defend this with the Lings and the Queens. 1 Queen goes down. Medevac takes a lot of damage. And if you chase it, you make it hard to unload. I love this. Old school tactic for Rogue. But unfortunately, because of the terrain there, he is allowed to unload in the corner. Gets rid of that creep as well. Rogue's just going to fight it, maybe? No. Was hoping to bait the Stim, but wasn't quite able to. 1-1 upgrades for Rogue. Almost done. BYUN's are pretty much in line, though. Macro Hatchery goes down for Rogue in the main base. Lambo likes the Macro Hatchery out front because it's easier for his creep queens to run over and inject on it without having to run all the way back into the main base, which is very valid. 2-2 starts for him. And for BYUN, 2-2 has not just started. BYUN just got a cancel on the gold, though. Double Drop's getting a little bit of value. Surprised he didn't stop to focus the Banelings, but you got to realize with the Medevac on red hit points, the Queens can focus that down, so BYUN has to be more cautious with this. And staying in this area makes taking this gold base free pickups. Yeah, Rogue, another 75 minerals plus a drone down the drain. Gotta stop throwing that. Rogue at 69 workers, so he hasn't really found space to drone up. Meanwhile, BYUN, beautiful defensive setup. Oh, he's thinking about attacking, and Rogue's actually setting up a counterattack. Oh, he's setting up burrowed Banelings? Ooh, but he hasn't actually queued them to burrow just yet. Okay, burrowed Banelings there. Does he have the other two burrowed? Yes. And Beon's going to push the right side. You're kidding me. You're kidding me. This is why burrowed Banelings suck, guys. It's always like this, I swear. I always set them up on like 2 out of 3 paths, and it's the other path that they never push down. They decide to push down this game. And you're like, what? You really thought Beon was going to try and cancel the gold, but Beon's like, dude, I know your 4th base is here. This is the more important base. So to be fair, maybe an error from Rogue to set up the Banelings like so. Beautiful spread from Beon. Beon's got a 4th command center on the way. He's also building a reactor on a 2nd factory, so he's going to go into Widow Mines here. He's not going to play pure siege tank this time. He wants to get the momentum going. Here's 2-2's not far behind the Zerg. One double drop on the left side does go in, and hot pickup at the last second. Units lost tab is very good for Beon right now. He's lost 7 Marines for 2 drones, 26 Zerglings, an Overlord, and a Queen. Burrowed Zerglings are great. Oh! Boom, baby! Rogue lands the money shot. Big! Remember, he was on 7 Marines, now 24. That's right, guys. 17 Marines for 2 burrowed Banelings. That's what he was looking for. And Rogue getting ready for a big counterattack. Oh, I don't think this is the play, though. He's going to try, but he has to back away. Now, Rogue's playing this as like a semi-all-in style, guys. What do I mean semi-all-in? I mean, an incredibly committed, low economy. He needs damage. Even after getting that, he's not ahead because he's been sitting on 69 workers this whole time. So Rogue is kind of hoping that Beon plays a bit too fast and loose, and he can jump on him. Rogue has a massive army, but he needs to catch Beon out, and he's going to catch these 2 tanks, which is great. 1 tank on the rear is going to be able to siege up. Banelings are going forward. Does block the Widow Mine, but he has to back away from there. Good positioning for Beon. Gets a lot of those Banelings down. Now, there's plenty more Banes behind it, but Rogue is refusing to transition. And that's an issue. I really feel like Rogue here, he's scared Beon squeezed 10 to 15 drones out a minute ago. Like, we're at 9 minutes and not droning. And the longer you go, the scarier it is. Because if you build drones too late in the game, they're not going to have time to pay for themselves before the game-ending fights happen. So right now, it's almost like, well, you're almost stuck on this 70 worker count. You kind of have to play this low economy dark style now. We'll see if he can pull it off. Hive almost finished. Adrenal glands and 3-3, or do we go Ultra Cavern? Instant Ultra Cavern. Old school, baby. If he can squeeze in +3 carapace, that would be great as well, but he's making 7 more Banelings right now. Remember, there's not that many gases. You know, the income is only 800 gas a minute right now for both sides. About 5 gases. And, oh, Lingbane. Oh! Beon loves to wait for the last second with those pickups, doesn't he? Marines and Widow Mines on the right side. Watch out for the Banelings. Oh, man, the Widow Mines get a good cleanse. The Banelings do get 12 workers, but is that really enough to be worth so many Banelings going down? These trades getting very bad for the Zerg. Down 2,200 resources in the units lost tab. On that left side, no Spore Crawlers to stop this triple drop, having a bit of a party in the back of the Zerg's base. He's going to unload in the corner. Rogue sees it. Banelings! Nice, gets himself a good hit. There we go. Remember, there's no +3 carapace on the way, whereas 3-3 has started for the Terran. No chitinous plating either. So Rogue's just on pure Lingbane right now, and these Widow Mines coming in are a problem. I think once you have Ultras, it really helps. Ooh, dragging Widow Mines into the Terran army is always nice. He's got to clear this push-up. These Widow Mines swap is so nice. Drilling Claws is finished. Concussive Shells coming in as well. Marines in the top left kind of hiding there. BYUN doesn't seem to have a scan available. Marines in the corner. Very happy to take that trade. Hot pickup. Very effective. More of these units going down. Once Concussive Shells and more Marauders come in, it's going to be really hard for Lingbane to compete. 3-3 has started along with chitinous plating. He's also up on 80 drones now as Rogue, but he's doing this after being behind for quite a while, and yet he hasn't found any efficiency. I always feel like if you're playing a long, low economy play, you need something like Infestors or Vipers very early to get value. Infestors would be the best. Vipers, not bad. The problem is he's been on low economy for a while, but he's only been playing Lingbane, nothing else. So he hasn't really found the efficiency because BYUN's not made a big mistake. And that's what you need, is you need to force mistakes, which is why big Ling counterattacks into the natural would be a common way to do this. Like, you got to kind of sneak units around and make it messy. This tank on the high ground, making things really hard for him to harass the gold as well with 20 kills on it. Triple drop in the left, still continuing to pick up over and over again. I do like Rogue, the fact that Rogue played Mass Lingbane. He was the original guy who kind of started playing Mass Lingbane in 2018 on Cyberforest. He did this versus Innovation. He did a 3-gas, I think it was, originally versus Innovation. 3-gas, nothing but Lings, Banes, Queens, and then eventually going up to Ultras and a few more gases later, but I think he just won the game with just so much more Lingbane. Every Zerg was just by default going for either Mutalisks or Hydras at the time, and Rogue was one of the first guys who said, what if I just make a ton more Lingbane, because I can skip on all these gases and have so much income. Oh, that's a big move. Beon finds the bottom with a drop. Only one medevac left alive, but he's going to win that fight. Meanwhile, Lingbane runs through the middle, but the Bio's going to fall back. The Widowmine's making it hard to chase. Lingbane counterattack tries to go in. The Banelings will blow up the wall. The Lings are derping out a little bit, but he's going to get in there. The Bio's nearby, though. Queens do defend the triple drop on the left. Dude, he got 11 drones. How is this drop finally only now getting cleaned up? Dude, the Lings in the back is massive, though. He can spread these Zerglings through the whole base. Unfortunately for him, 3-3 finished. If he was able to get rid of the engineering base, that would have been massive. He's going to be able to get rid of the Ghost Academy, though. He could definitely roll over the top, the front base as well. I think Rogue might have this. Rogue doesn't have a lot of money to rebuild, though. He's got to be careful with his trading. Meanwhile, Marine's coming on that left side. He's not got the APM to transfuse here while microing everything else. The Queens are dying without transfusing. If the Banelings can connect, maybe though. Maybe the Banelings get some decent connects. Transfuses try to go down. Ultra Baneling rolls in. They kill a planetary. But Rogue just threw his entire army away. He has just forced Beon all in. Beon has no choice. He has to counterattack. He has to go right now. He's got a double upgrade advantage for about 20 more seconds. 20 more seconds. He's got that double upgrade advantage. Rogue is going to need to give up a base, I think. He's already lost a base on the left side. The Lings unburrowing. He did so much economic damage. Beon's on only 34 workers. Rogue's on 80. The Ultra's getting trapped. The Ultras are getting trapped. He needs the 3-3 upgrades. But look at this. Beon's forcing the fight before the upgrades are ready. There's no Banelings. He mule dropped. He mule dropped the Ultras on the left side. Beon just force fielded the Ultras with a mule drop. Oh my god, the plays. That was an incredibly clutch move in the heat of the moment. Beon says, you made me play a draw game. You made my wrists hurt. I'm going to make you pay for it, son. That was an absolutely delicious move. I think he had the numbers to win that fight anyway, but that was so perfectly placed. The Ultras were trying to run back to buy time for 3-3 to finish, and he ended up getting trapped in there. For those who don't know, when you drop the mule, it's actually invulnerable for a few seconds as well, which is why that's so powerful. Only 50 army supply right now for Rogue. He's got to defend the gold base. If he can't defend it, he's going to be taken out. He's down to 47 workers against 34. The Marauder count is insane. And Rogue, he found some value with those big attacks and the Ling counterattacks that we were talking about. You know, you have to counterattack. You can't just trade on the front. But dude, Beon manages to defend and counterattack. And we've got to watch that mule one more time. So, as I said, when you drop the mule, as it's falling, it already blocks the area where it's landing. But you can't actually attack it for a second or two. So this was super clutch. So you see he drops it there. And then it's just on hold position or whatever. And because the Ultras are on A move, they're trying to get at the Bio. So they're not attacking it. So even if you don't hold position the mule, it's still just going to block the Ultra. And the Ultras are just, let me through. Let me through. I could hear the bloody the shout of Weight Watchers, you know. That's why you shouldn't have eaten that ice cream. Bloody fat shaming mule right there. Nothing like getting fat shamed by a robot. Hats off to Beon though. He ties up the series. We're going to get a game 3. All right, well, this series has certainly been an adventure. Beon strikes back there. Very nice attacks, good multi-prong, and I like the use of Widowmines being mixed in as well. Rogue in the top left side, though. Man, yeah, I think if he did the Ling counterattack a bit earlier, maybe he could have, and synced up the attack on the gold base just a little bit faster with the Ultra Baneling, maybe he could have done it. I think, honestly, just getting the Ling counterattacks in a bit faster, and he might have been able to run away, but Beon was just so annoying with his drops. Beon just didn't ever let them get caught by the Banelings, constantly re-dropping, poking in, not really giving Rogue any room to breathe and do what he wanted to do in that game. I love the style. I mean, that first burrowed Baneling was fantastic, wasn't it? What a good burrowed Baneling. Yeah. I think Bob Ross was a serial killer. We need to investigate his paintings. I think they are the location of crimes. What? Twitch chat's off the chain today. We were just talking about, you know, weight loss programs from the 90s and stuff, the old days. Apparently, guys, we just found out, because I was tossing up between shouting Jenny Craig or Weight Watchers, because for some reason Jenny Craig's a bit more ubiquitous in my mind. And apparently that was the OG weight loss program that Weight Watchers and the others caught on a bit later. So apparently Jenny Craig went out of business last year. GG, guys. That's why Rogue's Ultralisk was so fat. They couldn't figure it out, man. To be fair, I was actually just looking through some old videos the other day. Do you guys remember just how big Ultras used to be? I keep forgetting that we changed the Ultra to be a smaller unit. You know, when I see old videos now with the classic Ultra, I just like laugh. I'm like, oh my lord, that thing is huge. Like, you know, which you could argue is kind of cooler, right? But they got stuck on things so much, and in actual effect, they didn't really work that well. But if you look at old videos, it's crazy how chunky the old Ultralisk was. They were, you know, Ultralisks used to be built different. Now we have these liberal soy boy Ultralisks. No, anyway, sorry, I'll stop. What are they, vegan Ultralisks? What is this? Yes, guys, they've been eating too much vegetable protein. They need to just drink more milk, get strong. Second barracks on the way. Oh, is this just an old school 2-1-1 for BYUN, guys? BYUN's such a crazy gamer, man. It's like Rogue is so creative. He's like borrowed Banelings and Mass Overseer, and BYUN's like 2016 build order? Question mark. And we're like, yeah, I guess you can do that. Wait. But then he builds a third command center anyway, and he's only going single gas. What is this build order, guys? It's 2-1-1. But normally you go third command center, then second barracks. He's going second barracks, then third command center. Is this even good? Does this speed up his timing a little bit? Maybe he's going to hit like the Hellbat Stim all in and try to catch, because Rogue was so greedy with his upgrades the last game. He might think, you know what? Rogue's so greedy. Let's catch him out. Hit him with a stiff Hellbat Stim timing. Interesting. Interesting. Rogue, super standard, guys. Back on gas now at 330. He's got 2 mineral lines pretty full. He was a little supply block for a second there. He does need to keep droning. He's got 4 lava just sitting there. 5 lava just sitting there right now. Rogue. Okay. 8 lava just sitting there. Big supply blocks for Rogue. This is a sloppy early game. I think Rogue's been studying Dark's build orders, guys. His builds in the other games were much tighter than this. This is a really big hold up on his worker production. His queens aren't building right now because they're supply blocked as well. Oof. And there we go. And he's going to rush Lair. Rogue's going to rush. I think he's going to try and play Mutalisks this game, but losing those 9 drones or having them build so much slower is a bummer. Okay, he's still building Hellions. And he's got the star. But yeah, so this is going to be a Hellbat Marine timing, guys. So BYUN is going a weird variation of the build order. He did take a second gas, but it's only, you know, it's very late. It's like 500 gas later, the starting mining than the first one. So BYUN is basically going to shove with maybe 6-7 Hellbats. Yeah, if he can get 2 medevacs started, and then the armory should go down after the next medevac starts. Yeah. Armory goes down. This is a cool timing attack. And Rogue should not be able to defend this with queens and zerglings. Remember, he's been playing low queen count. If you skip banelings or roaches, you can defend this if you have like 9 queens. He's going to have 7 queens and zerglings. I think Rogue's just dead. I think BYUN's just got this in the bag. Now, I say that. Baneling nest starts. Maybe just in time. Maybe just in time. If he instantly makes banelings and like pulls back from the push and bides his time, maybe. How many Hellbats? It's going to be 6 Hellbats. Spire's on the way. Yeah, he's trying to go Mutalist. Dude, if that Spire gets sniped, that could be a problem as well. Here we go. It's going to be 16 Marines. Oh, the medevac goes in the wrong direction. Boosting forward. Hellions coming as well. Zergling's going to see it. Beautiful scouting here. Beautiful scouting. He sees the move out. 6 Hellions coming forward. Baneling Nest not quite done. Oh my gosh, 13 seconds away. I don't think it's ready in time. But BYUN doesn't know about this either, right? He's going to scan. He's going to morph Hellbats on the front. Marines aren't even going to go for the Overlord kill. He's just going to push forward by the looks of it and say, I can come back and get that later. The spores are there to buy time. They're purely to stop the medevacs moving in. He's like, okay, you need to stop to kill these. That's going to buy me a few seconds. Banelings are morphing, guys. Banelings are morphing. They're not ready yet. The queens and the lings just get wrecked. And Rogue does a dark style build order. And at the end of an excruciating series, gets completely rolled. Where were his banelings morphing, guys? Where were they? Where did he morph them over here? There's no reason for Rogue to have fought here, guys. He knew the banelings weren't ready. His best play here was to pull these queens all the way up to the right. These queens all the way up to the left and behind the natural or into the main ramp. He also should have been morphing banelings back here, not down here at the 4th base. That's a bad position. He might have been able to scramble out of this, but he needed to play really clutch. And because he had a bad opening number 1, right? He was way behind on drones with a supply block, but then also this kind of counters his build, right? Which is low queen count. Yes, he just built an 8th queen, but they don't have a lot of transfuse. No Baneling Nest for a long time. Fast lair. And BYUN just hits a sharp timing attack and does not let Rogue get away with these cheeky openings. Remember, Rogue rushed double upgrades in the last game. Game 1, he went roaches, so he was safe against this, but the last 2 games, right? This game, game 2, game 3, Rogue was wide open. BYUN gets an easy punish with an interesting build order, and he shuts down Rogue at the end of a ridiculous, ridiculous series. GG, well played to BYUN. And you know what? At the end of the day, guys, if your opponent has a wrist injury, or if they're not one of the best pro gamers in the world, I think there is some merit to the Changelings, but we'll have to go into a deeper dive at some point and see. Especially if we can see Clem against this strategy, I think we'll really know the answer of whether those Changelings are good or not. Anyway, GG, well played to Beon.